In this video, I'll give you a few reasons that why you have to pick Next.js in your next project, whether you are building Web 2 application or you are building your DApp, whether you are building for tutorial purpose or you're building for your clients, why you have to pick Next.js, what are the advantages you will have. We'll also talk about the disadvantages come with the Next.js, but why you have to pick Next.js spatially. And after the update of Next.js 13, there is a lot of powerful feature you will have in Next.js which will change the entire game. So if you want to use React or Angular, there is a lot of problem we have to face as a developer. So I'll share my point of view, but before I jump straight away that what are the advantages you will have as a Next.js developer for building your app or all of the things, let me show you some of the stats recently after the update of the Next.js 13. So recently they have released this particular stat in that what they have mentioned that after the update of Next.js 13, look at the number of sites using Next.js. So finally they have crossed 1 million website using Next.js. You can see in Jan 23 they have close to like 113k sites using Next.js, but in the month of Feb the numbers goes up, in the month of May goes up, April, May, June, July, and finally in the August the site is absolutely insane. So they have crossed 1 million active sites right now. And why they're getting this particular growth, you have to ask. They are providing some sort of benefits when it's come to using the framework for building the app. So let's talk about the advantages it's provide. So let's talk about the advantages Next.js provide, and because of that the all of these sites are using Next.js in their project. So let me talk about the pros and cons you will have if you use Next.js, and it's mostly the advantages. Like everything will have some sort of downside, but over the period things will develop and it will become good. So as you know that React, Next.js, all of these are a single web application. The first advantage you will have that you can able to build super fast static website, and that website will behave like a dynamic, so you can easily able to generate dynamic content just like a static website, and that is possible only in Next.js 13. If you talk about the React, what is happening there, it's really not that good user experience when it's come to generating the static sites. Okay, so there is a lot of problem in that, but because of this Next.js 13 Pro, that you can generate super fast static sites from the servers or from the front end part, and you can change the entire data dynamically. So that's really powerful. Number two is a great user experience. So when the data will serve in the website, and whether you are generating the static side or a dynamic side, it will happen very quickly, and you can easily able to do a lot of things, and you can create a better user experience for the users. So that's the power, which is not that possible if you use Angular or if you use React. I'm not telling that these frameworks are bad, because whatever you can see right now in Next.js, that's all came from the React, and they're gradually updating and like building this particular technology. Okay, so you can easily able to generate amazing user experience for your visitors. Okay, so that's the second advantage we have, and the third one is the most important part of this Next.js 13, which attract most of the industry to use this Next.js in their project: SEO friendliness. Because what happened in the single web page application, you simply update the data in a single web page dynamically, and in that scenario it's very hard to optimize the content. For example, you are writing a blog post and you are using the same single page, all you are doing simply updating the data. So in that context it's become very hard to do the SEO optimization for the Google search engine. But due to this Next.js 13, you can easily able to generate the static side, and that is super SEO friendly. So because of this SEO optimization, they have a special feature in the Next.js 13 which allow you to optimize your article, optimize your content, optimize your website for SEO, and because of that it's attract a lot of big company to use the project. So SEO is one of the biggest thing in the Next.js project. Number four is first time in the market. So if you are working as a developer, you probably have noticed this, that if you use other framework like Angular, React, there's a lot of problem. We're not able to do all of the things for our client. Think like a owner of the project. So I have to make my site SEO optimized super fast for my visitor. So I have to think in that way so I can provide a better user experience to my clients, both in terms of SEO optimization or marketing. So that was the problem I had in other framework, but due to this Next.js, because Next.js is the very first framework who introduced all of these things, and that's why it's getting a lot of popularity. And number five we have is a great community support. So if you have been working in the field of like Next.js, you will find that a lot of projects are got developed over the period, and there is already pre-existing codes out there. There is a lot of developers who are working in the Next.js. So when you will work on a project and when you will get stuck and when you are having any kind of error, you can simply go and ask to the forum. They will help you very quickly because they're regularly working on the project. So you will find a lot of developer working continuously on the project. It will help you to sort out the problem which you are facing in the code. So you will have an amazing community support, and you can simply solve your query very easily. And the last one is the amazing experience as a UI and UX developer. So if you are working as a full stack blockchain developer where you have to deal with the backend, smart contract, API, front end, and UI component, in that context it's become very easy for you that you can easily able to break down the entire application. You can easily able to do in the React, but here you can do in a more optimal way. You can target a specific element and you can simply do the manipulation in that. So again, you can do the same thing in React or Angular, but it will give you more options. It will allow you to configure your entire application in such a way which you can easily able to provide a great architecture of your application. So these are the couple of advantages I found, and this is the reason why I use like again and again whenever I build any project or tutorial on the channel. So whatever project you will find on the channel, I don't just build like that. All of those projects are a part of the project which I have built for my clients. So when I get a client project, I work on that, then I build a similar project related to that so I can simply publish on the channel. So whatever project I have built, in all of that I have used Next.js because I have used the same Next.js technology for my clients, and I have built the tutorial on that as well. So this is the reason why I pick, because when I'm working as a developer, I have to think that like an owner. I have to provide my best in terms of like, because he's trying to build a real business. Okay, he's trying to build a real business. He's giving me the real money and he's giving time and effort. So I have to give him the best. And Next.js is absolutely best in my point of view. You may have your own choice to picking up your framework. A lot of you say that you are comfortable with like React or Angular or a normal plain CSS JavaScript. So it's totally up to you. There is no problem in that. But as come to building a scalable application and like powerful application where you want to build a different architecture layer where you can do the backend part, where you can handle the entire context management, where you can provide the SEO optimization, then Next.js is the options right now so far. It's if you compare with the other framework, because none of the frameworks provide you these features as what the Next.js is providing you. If you talk about the disadvantages of Next.js, so I don't look at these like things as a disadvantages. Obviously this is a new technology, new feature, and things will grow over the period. It will develop and become very better. So like the few things I want to mention, that you won't able to find new plugins right now if you talk about the SEO and all of things. So there is very few plugins are available, and still those plugins are in the testing mode. So right now if you really want to use any sort of plugins for bringing any functionality in your application, that is not possible. It will be developed over the period. So that's the downside we have. And we have the one problem which I really want the Next.js team to work on it. So I want them to work on the built-in state management. So if they include this built-in state management, so right now we have to use Redux toolkit and other state management for manage the entire application state. But if they include the inbuilt state management, that would be really superpower. Okay, so these two I think is the disadvantages. It's not a disadvantage, it's in the early stage and it will improve over the period. I really want to highlight here that you have to use Next.js in your project, because if you look at the industry, whether you are going for the web development or full stack blockchain development or a full stack web 2 developer, in all of the fields you will find that they're using Next.js in their project. So you will work in the back end, you will work in the front end, you will work on the UX device, you will work in the smart contract protocol. You have to interact with the front end part where you're going to allow the user to just provide the service which you want to provide through your website. So Next.js is really powerful and it's very simple to learn. So first you have to learn about the basic hooks. I really made a small crash course on the Next.js where I have explained about the 5 most important hooks which you have to know if you really want to use Next.js as your framework for building your DApp. So make sure to check this particular crash course, and that I have explained the most 5 important hooks and how you can set the entire context management and build your application. So hope you guys have found this video valuable. If you still have any confusion, any doubt, do let me know in the comment section. I'll try to help you in that. With that, I'm ending this video. Have a wonderful day.